Cowboys Nation, let's ride. Cowboys Nation, let's ride. Cowboy Nation, let's ride.
Shut up.
Let's ride.
Whose world is this?
The world is yours. The world is yours.
It's mine. Whose world?
Okay, guys, so we have good news. The most penalties by a team in the preseason so far is New England with 12 against the New York Giants. And that's according to ESPN. And it says we only had 11. Oh, we had 11 with a quarter and a half remaining? Okay, so like I said in my previous video, preseason games aren't about the final score. It's about players winning their individual battles, players competing, and showing us if they have what it takes to be a Cowboy or just an NFL player, period. And, you know, my first takes, the good, the bad, and then the 50-50 guys. So, on my list of good guys, I have rookie tight end Jake Ferguson. We'll have more on him later. Dennis Houston, he landed on my good list. Deron Bland landed on my good list. And our interior defensive linemen. Now for my bad list. Obviously the penalties. Matter of fact, I should take that word off and put Mike McCarthy. Because everybody told him since the end of last year, fix up the penalties. And penalties were horrible last night. And that's whether all the penalties were legit or not. Because some were, you know, iffy calls. But I'm not here to argue with refs yet. Penalties, by far, the worst. Mike McCarthy, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if you just don't want the job anymore. But penalties, definitely bad list. Nashawn Wright landed on my bad list. He allowed big plays last night. And it was unfortunate because, you know, he was so physical last night making tackles. But he gave up that one touchdown. And, you know, you can't give up big plays as a corner. I know what's going to happen. You just have to be short-minded. But he landed on my bad list after last night's performance. We also have Cooper Rush. I expected way more out of Cooper Rush. I said in my last video, Cooper, you better do your thing because Will Greer's he coming. And you played terrible last night. Flat out awful. You played scary. You were scared to throw the ball. You looked timid out there. Yo, just let it go. You got to just throw it. So, Cooper Rush on my bad list. And last, Jalen Tolbert. Drops. False starts. What sucks is the rookie hasn't shown that in camp whatsoever. But we'll touch on this later as well. And then on my 50-50 list, the good and the bad, is Tyler Smith. But once again, we'll touch on Tyler Smith later in the video. And I keep saying that we'll touch on certain things later in the video because for this video, I'm going to go over all of Dallas Cowboys 2022 draft picks and how they performed last night in their first NFL action in the first preseason game against the Denver Broncos. So before we get into that video, if you're a diehard Cowboy fan or just an NFL fan, go ahead and subscribe to that channel right now because it's free. And I drop daily Dallas Cowboys content every single day. So if you need your Dallas Cowboy fix, whether it's pre-game, post-game, or just throughout the week, it's going to be here on this channel. So go ahead and subscribe, leave a like, and comment below who is your favorite Dallas Cowboy right now. Who's your favorite Dallas Cowboy? But let's get into these rookies. So the first rookie I'm going to talk about is obviously our first round NFL draft pick, Tyler Smith. Now, Jerry Jones has been saying that it's good competition between Tyler Smith and Connor McGovern at the left guard during training camp. Last night, Tyler Smith was playing left guard while McGovern was playing right guard because obviously Zach Martin wasn't playing. Now, the video I'm showing right now is a video of our first round draft pick, Tyler Smith, on the opening series. Not bad at all. In my honest opinion, you can try to bull rush Tyler Smith, but it's not going to end well for you. He's a strong dude. He was hemming up dudes all camp who were trying to bull rush him. And we even saw that last night. But every time a defensive lineman tried to bull rush, Tyler Smith won that rep 9 out of 10 times. Now, they try to hit Tyler Smith with a little finesse move. You know, he may have, I'm not going to say struggle, but those wins weren't as guaranteed as if a defensive lineman tried to bull rush him. Now, Tyler Smith, who had holding penalties in college, had 2 holding calls last night. And like I said earlier in the video, I'm not in the full debating mode with the refs right now, whether or not those holding calls were accurate or not. But they weren't. Now, this is Tyler Smith's second hold. He got flagged for a pancake. didn't see a hole whatsoever once again. So in conclusion, I feel like Tyler Smith needs to work on his hand placement. He's so powerful that it creates the illusion that he's grabbing at people when he's really not. Tyler Smith played the entire first half at left guard. Like I said, he was penalized for holding twice, but also put some defenders on their backs in the run game. I assume that he will improve and be better when he has Tyron Smith next to him. So in all, he was not perfect, but certainly had some dominant moments. I would say that Tyler Smith has a high ceiling. Now for our second round draft pick, defensive end Sam Williams. The biggest play in the night for Sam was when he was busted for a ridiculous roughing the passer penalty. He showed his quicks getting out of the pocket on Saturday night, and he did what he was supposed to do. He chased the quarterback down, caught up to him, and didn't seem to give him any additional or unnecessary contact as the quarterback released the ball. So maybe the refs thought that Williams led with his helmet or something, but in the regular season, that will definitely be an iffy call. But again, I'm not fighting with the refs. It's preseason. Other than him maybe leading with his head, I'm not sure what did Sam Williams do wrong here. But besides for that one iffy penalty, Sam Williams looked good on that drive. And in conclusion, Sam is going to be a problem. His get off and speed is just nasty off the edge. He was close a few times for getting his first NFL sack. Well, in the preseason. Our third round NFL draft pick was Jalen Tolbert. And I don't want to say he was awful, but he wasn't good. He had 2 drops and a false start. On the night, he had 2 catches on 7 targets for only 10 yards receiving. I mean, in his defense, Cooper Rush didn't throw not one good pass all night. So can we blame this on Cooper Rush? When Jalen Tolbert was asked on his performance on tonight's game versus the Broncos, he said, "I got to do everything better. I'm going to watch the film and go back in the lab. I got to get better." So in conclusion, Jalen Tolbert only had Cooper Rush throwing him the ball in the first half. He never got the opportunity to catch a pass from Ben DiNucci in the second half. And the other wide receivers did. Ben DiNucci was letting that thing fly. I think if Tolbert got the chance to play with DiNucci, he would have had way more yards and possibly a touchdown. Now for a fourth round NFL draft pick who I think had the best night out of all the rookies. Tight end Jake Ferguson. Ferguson looks like the real deal at tight end. His ability to find space and point of attack blocking was better than I thought. He also had some finishing traits. I'm actually surprised of how good he looked, considering the fact that he was out with a hamstring injury in most of training camp. Jake is probably the reason why we didn't extend Dalton Schultz yet. He might be. So in conclusion, I wouldn't be surprised if Jake Ferguson passed up Sean McKeon on the depth chart by the end of the season. He looks like a promising young tight end prospect with good hands, good routes, point of attack blocking is solid. He's like a baby Schultz. Now for some quick assessments on our 5th round NFL draft picks. I'm not going to go too deep with these guys. We had DaRon Bland. I now see what the scouts saw in Bland coming out of college. I thought he was outstanding, seeing the field and reacting quickly to the ball. He had no false steps or hesitations. And call me crazy, I think I feel more comfortable throwing Bland out there before both Wright and Kelvin Joseph after seeing his last night's performance. Call me crazy. If you agree, comment below and say, "You're right." And then also, our big man from Arkansas, the big D tackle, Ridgeway. I was surprised to see him out there with his bruised knee. But he's a big guy, and you can see that the power is there. But there you have it. Our top NFL draft picks from last year's draft from round 1 through 5. Comment below your thoughts on these guys' performances. And like I always say, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, subscribe right now because it's free. But until next time,